Hey, what's going on? It's Jungle Diop, and today we're going to talk about recording superstar as well as controversial artist Tory Lanez. Now, just in case you've been living under a rock, Tory Lanez is an artist who was associated with Megan Thee Stallion, who was accused of some things and was basically incarcerated and has been for a while now. Now, it's controversial because people believe that a lot of evidence and a lot of the things against him don't quite line up. And a lot of people believe he's innocent, but there are also a lot of people who believe that he's guilty and that the evidence condemns him. However, no matter however you feel about Tory, his chart is interesting. And now I always feel when I do a chart, kind of like, I got you. I finally got you where I want you, because the chart tells everything. The chart and the wheel exposes all. But with no further ado, let's get right into this chart. Now, right off the wham, we have Sun in Leo. And with that placement, we already know that we're going to be talking about ego. We're going to be talking about pride. We're going to be talking about creativity. We're going to be talking about shining. We're going to be talking about somewhat being social. Even if that person in the rest of the chart does not truly want to be social or maybe more of an introvert, just the fact that that Sun in Leo is there, that's going to give some level of extroversion or some level of being able to handle attention and social graces. Your sun sign is your core. It's who you are as a person, that the essence of you is. When it boils down to it, your sun sign is such a big deal because when everything else is cut away, you are that sun sign. And so all the other aspects and all the other factors matter, but that sun sign is the essence of you. And now let's move on down to that moon sign. When you deal with that moon sign, you start to deal with a person's emotions. You start to deal with their inner life, their inner workings. And Tory Lanez having that Cancer in the moon, which is, Cancer is a moon sign, but Cancer is ruled by the moon. And so with that being said, this gives an extremely emotional personality. This means there's a person who is motivated by emotion, and that emotions move them deeply. This person may feel sympathetic. This person may go through a lot of mood swings. Everything associated with the sign of Cancer is turned up to 1,000 when it comes to this moon sign. It's because Cancer in itself is an emotional sign. You put that in the moon and you have emotions turned up to the max. And you can tell when Tory talks in his music, you can tell from the phone calls that he received in jail, he is a very emotional person. And it doesn't stop there. There's more that goes into this. So let's go to the next aspect. Next, we have Mercury in Leo. And your Mercury is your internal logic and thinking, but it's also how you speak. It's your communication. And so those are two different types of things. Your logic and your communication are both based on Leo, which is the sign, once again, that ego, that pride, that courage, that creativity. See, that gives Tory part of that, that swagger, part of that stance that he has on the mic. Part of his creativity is that Leo in that Mercury, but it also gives him an authoritative way of talking. I'm in charge. When you hear a Mercury in Leo person talking, they're essentially talking like they're in charge because Leo has that arrogant, that kind of that bravado. And it has that stance, that authority that comes with Leo that says, I'm in charge, I'm the man, I'm the guy. And you hear that a lot in Tory's music, saying that, I gotta be the man, I gotta be the dude. He expresses that verbally in his music a lot because Leo is a sign of authority. Leo is the sign of kings. Leo is the sign of, I'm standing up with my chest out because I'm proud, but it also leads to arrogance. And with that arrogance can come a lot of problems. It leads to a lot of ego, speaking from ego, doing things from ego. And Tory has spoken about that in his music as well, doing a lot of things that are negative out of ego. But that's not the only place that shows up. There's a lot more going on. The next, we got Venus in Leo. So again, we got that Sun in that ego with the Leo. We got that Mercury in the ego as well. And then we got that Venus in Leo. And what does that mean? That means Tory loves with his ego. He's big-hearted. Leos are very giving. They're very generous. They're very big-hearted. But here's the thing. Leo gives in order to receive. Leo says, yeah, I'm going to give to you. I'm going to give the best to you. I'll give my all to you. But you know what? I want to receive like a king. I want to receive on the top level. Sure, I'll be that great husband. Sure, I'll be that great wife to you. But I need you to reciprocate that greatness to me. And also, here's something that Tory could take a lesson from. That Venus and Leo had a lot to do with his ego and why he chose Megan. You see, Megan represents the archetype of what a lot of hip hop artists want to be associated with. She's a hot rapper, she's popping, she, has the body, everybody sees you with her, and oh my God, I'm proud, I got the baddest in the game. What did Jay-Z say? I got the baddest chick in the game, wearing my chain. That's all on ego. So Tory chose her out of his ego once again. It makes me feel good about me. It makes me feel like the big man that I got this pretty girl on my arm. And so with that being said, that's one of the reasons for Tory's battle with his ego is because it's in his chart that he's going to be egotistical. He's going to have that arrogance, but he's also going to choose partners out of that ego and arrogance. And that can go well, but in this case, it obviously didn't go well. But we still have more lessons to learn. Now we've got Mars in Gemini, and oh man, this is a talker's talker. Mars in Gemini is a man who not only is strategic, who not only is a thinker and a bit of an intellectual, if not a really good intellectual, but also this man speaks. This man has the ability, that gift of gab. This man can talk a lot. He can talk his way into situations. He can talk his way out of situations. However, the flip side of Gemini is that sometimes that talking can be superficial. Sometimes Gemini can lie a bit. Sometimes Gemini can promise one thing and then do another because they didn't feel like it at the moment. I said I'd be down at the store, but I'm not really gonna be there because I didn't feel like it or something came up. I got so many things going in my life. I forgot about it or I decided not to do it. I switched my mind at the last minute. And that played into his relationship with Megan as well, because he was doing some double dipping and some deception and some double talking amongst her and her friends. And so with that being said, Mars in Gemini has that gift of gab, but also it can work against you. Sometimes you can talk yourself into some really good situations. Other times you can talk yourself right out of those same situations. So ladies, if you see Mars in Gemini in that chart, that's a smooth talker. That's a brother who might break some promises, but at the same time, he gonna make it sound good. Mars in Gemini knows how to talk and communicate, and they're very silver-tongued. Next, we have Jupiter in Virgo. And what does that mean? Jupiter in Virgo discusses a lot of things. Your Jupiter deals with your beliefs, but it also deals with your sense of how you're going to expand yourself, how you're going to receive your blessings. It deals with how you receive more, how you expand. And with it being in Virgo, that sign of work, this means that Tory strongly believes in work ethic. And if you look at him, he is a very productive rapper, very productive artist. I mean, mixtape after mixtape, song after song. I mean, that Virgo energy just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, to the fact where the universe looks down and says, this guy's been at it for 5, 6, 7 years straight. I mean, constantly plugging everything. The universe is going to expand. The universe is going to give to a person like that because they're industrious, they're hardworking. And so his blessings, the way that he expands himself, the way that he receives more, is that he puts in a lot of that work. And also with that Jupiter and Virgo, that means being of service to others, because Virgo is a sign of service. So that Jupiter in Virgo means that when I help others, when I give to others, then you know what? I'll be blessed, or I'll receive gifts from the universe as well, because that universe recognizes, hey, you've been putting in this effort, you've been helping others. The universe gives to you, it expands to you. And that's how Tory has been making this music, expanding and seeing more financially and in other ways.